You heard Trump say it the other day that we could use crypto to pay off the debt here in the US. So I'm gonna get into that for a little bit because I know people have a hard time with that. There was some guy that was like, well, you'd have to sell all the crypto to do that. If you were around in 1930, which most of us weren't, they confiscated gold from the US public, right? If you had family heirlooms and certain things, they weren't able to take it. But if you had bullion, they took it. And that was at $20 an ounce. And they paid people $20, 20 US dollars for every ounce of gold. 6 months later, they revalued that gold to $35 an ounce on the government's balance sheet. Well, they didn't sell the gold to pay off the debt. You have assets, you have liabilities. If your liabilities are way up here, you need your assets to rise to match that debt. What would happen if the US government just happened to have a bunch of XRP on their balance sheet? That has never been audited. David Sachs said so. They don't know publicly what the government holds for crypto. The only thing we know for sure is they had, the Bitcoin that they potentially sold now. We'll see. So that would be a great way, and they don't even have to revalue it this time. There's a lot of people out there like, they'll revalue this and that. They don't even have to do that. They can use market dynamics. They can orchestrate catalysts. They can do what they need to cause this domino transaction to take place to drive XRP's price to thousands of dollars. And if they had enough of it on their balance sheet at thousands of dollars, it would go from 250, call it 250 to 2,000 bucks. 700 times their money. If they had enough of it, that would be enough of the assets to be able to offset most of the debt. And that's how that would work. They wouldn't pay it off. They just have enough assets to be able to offset the amount of liabilities they have. And then they can borrow against that to cover the debt. And then they can loan the money themselves. This is the whole game we play at Digital Wealth Partners, right? Like, you can be your own bank. Governments are their own bank. The US government has been able to print themselves out of every recession up to this point because they've been the global reserve currency. They're not going to have that luxury on the other side of this transition. They know that. So